I feel like in the end I found that our place is really just that we are held in the arms of God.
Hi, I'm Rachel Bomberger with Eerdmans Publishing. I'm here today with Russell Rathbun, who's the author of The Great Wall of China and the Salton Sea, Monuments, Missteps, and the Audacity of Ambition. Welcome, Russell.
Thank you.
So good to talk with you today. This is such a fun book. Did you have fun writing it?
I did have a lot of fun writing it. To me, it was endlessly interesting, all the research that I did and the places that I traveled to, and yeah. So
where did this book come from? There was, I think, a very specific
Yeah,
thing that
I
led
used to
it.
live down in Brawley, California, which is in the Imperial Valley. It's near the Salton Sea. Mm-hmm. And my parents lived there. I moved there, you know, college, a false start. I went there for a little while, and all these old timers there would always tell me this story, you know, knowing I was new around there. They would say, you know, there's only two man-made objects you can see from outer space. Mm-hmm. One is the Great Wall of China, and the other is the Salton Sea. And one is the result of thousands of years of all this work, and the other is the result of a gigantic mistake. Mm. And they would go on to tell me the story of how the Salton Sea was formed as this mistake. And so when it came to writing this book, I always had that kicking around in my head. That always just something about it seemed, I don't know, like poetic or a mantra or the beginning of some kind of, I don't know, tale.
Yeah, even though we know that you can't see the Great Wall of China from
cannot,
space, and
yes.
there are many man-made objects that are visible. It's a wonderful little, almost a parable.
It really is, and that's kind of how I took it, as a parable, because I wanted to write about sort of, well, I guess the audacity of ambition, what it means to be human. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're, you know, right at the beginning of Genesis, God commands us to be fruitful and multiply, to spread out over the earth, you know, and that hasn't really been that great for the earth, you know.
And at times it hasn't been that good for us
No,
either.
it has not been that good for us. And so the Great Wall of China is kind of universally thought of as this great achievement. Mm. That is, you know, and the Salton Sea is this great mistake. Well, the Great Wall of China was built to keep the northern hordes from coming down, but what it did is serve as kind of a freeway straight into the heart of the empire. So it didn't turn out that well either. And the Salton Sea, if you don't know the story, was created when they, you know, right at the height of manifest destiny, they looked at this great desert and the Colorado River. These, you know, great men of renown thought, well, what a waste of space. Why don't we take all that water, instead of having it drain uselessly into the ocean, and we'll fertilize, irrigate the entire desert, and we can sell the land. Well, the Colorado River created, you know, the Grand Canyon. It's kind of hard to tame. And in an attempt to divert the river, they made a giant mistake, and the river just ran completely. The Colorado River drained into the ocean, filling it up for over 2 years before they could stop. And it created the Salton Sea.
So you've got this giant sea.
It's the largest inland lake in California. It's a gigantic sea.
But there's nothing going into it. So what has happened to the Salton Sea?
Well, what goes into it now, after they've successfully, you know, made all these irrigation ditches, and they do have 4 harvests a year down there. 90% of your winter vegetables in the United States come from there. Mm. But so the Salton Sea now just fills up with irrigation runoff. So it's pretty toxic. Mm. Yeah.
Not exactly a holiday destination, although I guess it once was.
They tried to make it a holiday destination for a while, and there was, you know, swimming and boating and great resorts, and they thought, you know, they called it the, you know, it was going to be the California Riviera destination spot, and they sold a lot of land to people based on that idea, but it didn't really turn out.
Yeah. Tell me about your grandfather's secret that sort of brought your personal connection.
Well, that was another thing. When I started getting interested in the Salton Sea, I was talking about it to everyone I knew, which is my tendency. I was talking to my mom, and she's like, you know, your grandpa actually bought some land down there. And I was like, what? And so I looked into it, and he went down. It's like one of these free trips you hear about, go check out this timeshare. It was like that, come down to the Salton Sea. He lived in San Diego. So this is about, out in the desert, about 2.5 hours away. Come down there and you'll spend this weekend. We'll show you this plot of land you can buy, and you pay now, and once it's developed, you'll be able to sell it for a lot of money. And so my grandpa did that, and they never developed it, and thousands of people lost money on it. And so part of this book, I kind of take this journey to sort of recapture, go try and find this land that my
And it's
grandpa
a literal
bought.
journey. There is a road trip that happens
It
in
is
the
a
book.
literal journey. It is. Yeah, full of monumental experience and plenty of missteps along the way. Yeah.
What did you find down at the Salton Sea? Not just
Yeah,
physically, of
no,
course, because
right.
it's such an
Yeah.
interesting landscape, but more than that.
Sure. I kind of found the beauty of God's mercy, really. I mean, I found that this human striving is kind of, we feel compelled to move and to create and to build, but really it's a kind of way to find our place, to find a home, or to find who we are, or really find our place. And I feel like in the end I found that our place is really just that we are held in the arms of God. And whatever gigantic mistake we might make, which we do, or even fantastic, monumental lives we build, in the end, God sees all those things the same way, and loves us all in the same way, and holds us in his arms.
Yeah. You've got the Salton Sea, this fantastic road trip that you and your brother took. You've got the Great Wall of China, which you do actually write about having visited in the book. You've got all these other streams and storylines because you're a niche historian with broad interests.
Yes.
And then you've got the Bible.
Yeah.
And I love the parts where you bring in the Tower of Babel, which I think is a beautiful connecting point for these things. What does the Tower of Babel, show for you as a preacher and also as a niche historian?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's interesting to me too, because in thinking about this Great Wall of China and this great achievement, we have, and then think about this big mistake where the Colorado River floods the desert. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not talking not too many chapters into the Bible, into Genesis, where we have this great flood. We first have God telling people to go out and cover the earth and be fruitful and multiply, and it goes south real quick. And so God floods the earth, which is kind of horrifying and shocking right away. And then kind of after that, the first thing people do is they go off away from God, and then they start building this gigantic structure to reach the heaven, maybe to reach God. I mean, I don't know. And they build this gigantic structure and just like this great achievement, and God doesn't like that either. I mean, God knocks it down. God scatters them. Their punishment is that they are scattered all over the earth.
Yeah.
It's really interesting and intriguing, and seems like on just a real gut level, it kind of seems like the truth about what it means to try and be human in the world,
Yeah, every time things get knocked down, we look around and we say, ooh, what can we make out of this?
Exactly,
you look at the Salton Sea, oh, that was not what we intended to happen.
Right.
What if we were to put a resort here?
Exactly, yeah. And now the Salton Sea is drying up because water is so valuable now that they take even this agricultural runoff, and San Diego County buys it, treats it. It's all going up there, And so they made an agreement a while ago that they are going to slowly put less and less water into the Salton Sea. And next year, in 2017, they're going to cut off all the water going into the Salton Sea completely, which means that it will dry up because it is in the middle of the desert.
Yes.
But when it dries up now, this playa, which is all filled with selenium and all this agricultural runoff fertilizers that have been in there. And so a dust storm, the winds blow through there, so these toxic clouds of dust will begin to blow, and they already are. People, asthma is out of control down there. It's going to affect hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, their health. It's going to cost a lot, and those great, beautiful, like this one farmer down there told me, he says those little baby spinaches that you folks like up north is going to be done. So it's kind of, but you know, people are thinking, you know what we can do when it dries up? I bet we could put geothermal power plants down there. So that's the new pitch. That's what they're going to do now. Yeah.
There's always a new thing.
Yeah, for, you know, yeah, for those with ambition and striving to, I don't know, make money.
Yeah. And yet all this striving, all this building, all this trying to make a place for ourselves, a name for ourselves, we already have our place.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think the world would be a different place if the audacity of ambition was sort of scaled back a little bit? If more people said, you know what, I don't need to build a Great Wall.
Yeah.
I'm good. How would that change things?
I think it would be, I think people would like, I think the world would be a lot better place to be in. Don't you think? I mean, there's so many, I mean, even health-wise, there's so many things coming up now that really are the result of people just living constantly with stress, with this fight or flight. It's like killing people, you know, because we're always sort of like just ready to go to try and do something, to achieve something. I mean, everybody's got to have their own brand now, right? And you've got to really, it's not getting better. It's getting worse, you know? So I think, I think I'm a preacher, but I don't take the tack like I know something that I have to tell everybody else and convince them. I'm always, when I write sermons, I'm trying to figure stuff out for myself. And so this book I wrote for myself. I'm not trying to say, have you all need to just, you know, relax or understand that you are in God's arms and that you are loved. I'm doing this, I need to hear that.
Yeah, and you're doing it in a very, I think, nuanced way. This isn't a book about, here's what's wrong with the world, here's what the Bible says, and here's how you fix it, now go do it. This is a book that just explores and explores some more and digs and travels and thinks and chats a bit here and there. I mean, what you're doing here is a very unique way of preaching, and yet it's hard not to come away from it having some big new thoughts and a different perspective on all of these things.
Well, thank you. I hope that is the case, because I really do want people to sort of like, I do have this road trip and in the book, and I kind of, the way I think about it is, I really want to prepare people and then kind of get them in the car with me and my brother, and and have people go on this trip with us and kind of hopefully find, you know, something.
Well, I think that would be a really fun trip to take, and even just reading about it is a very eye-opening experience.
Great.
I don't know that I myself want to go to the Salton Sea, because I understand it's very
toxic.
Toxic, but I really enjoyed going there with you.
No, thank you. So. And I must say that the people down there that I meet are fantastic. They're just amazing people who just happen to be in this situation like we all are, you know.
Well, Russell, it's been wonderful talking with you today. I'm so glad you took the time.
Oh, thank you very much. This has been great.